حي ذو امتناء أولى وما له مكان سبحانه قد جل عن أين وكيف وزمان.
بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا رسول الله. قال المؤلف رحمه الله بيان. The author, may Allah have mercy upon him, said, clarification. هذه الكلمة لا موجود إلا الله أحدثها ملاحدة المتصوفة. This word لا موجود إلا الله, which means nothing exists but Allah, it was innovated by the atheistic Sufi claimers. الذين يعتقدون وحدة الوجود, those who believe in the absolute unity, meaning they believe that God and the world are one and the same. Not that they believe that God is in his creatures, but that they believe that God and the world are one and the same. Those are two different beliefs. ثم بعض العوام من المسلمين صاروا يقولونها. Then some of the laymen among the Muslims started saying it. من غير فهم لمعناها, with no understanding of its meaning. They didn't realize that they were saying, by saying لا موجود إلا الله, that they're saying that God and the world are one and the same. ويظنون أن معناها أن الله هو المسيطر على كل شيء. They think that its meaning is that Allah is the one who has the dominant power over everything. فهؤلاء لا يكفرون لأنهم يقولونها ولا يفهمون معناها الكفري. So those people, they do not blaspheme because they say it while they do not understand its blasphemous meaning. In this case, mashallah, that rule is not particular to Arabic. That's true of English also, or any other languages. That's the rule. So if someone said holy S or holy cow, if he doesn't really understand what those words mean, he thinks it means something else, then he doesn't blaspheme. Don't rush to say he committed kufr. You need to take into account what the people understand. The rule is, if a person said a word, even if it's explicit blasphemy, but he doesn't understand its real meaning when he says it, and then he doesn't commit blasphemy. وأمثال هذا كثير, and the examples of this are many. منها قول بعض الملاحدة عن الله هو الكل. Among them is the saying of some of the atheists about Allah, huwa al-kull, it means he is the all. وَقَوْلُهُمْ مَا فِي الْوُجُودِ إِلَّا اللَّهِ عَصَمَنَ اللَّهُ مِنْ ذَلِكَ. And they're saying nothing exists but Allah, may Allah protect us from that. It's like if someone says God is everywhere, and he thinks it means he has power over everything. وهذه الكلمة لا موجود إلا الله وقول ما في الوجود إلا الله وأمثالهما كانت في الفلاسفة اليونانيين. And this expression, this word لا موجود إلا الله, which means nothing exists but Allah, and saying ما في الوجود إلا الله, there is nothing in existence but Allah, وأمثالهما, and the likes of that, كانت في الفلاسفة اليونانيين, it existed among the Greek philosophers. They were speaking their language. كانوا يرون أن جملة العالم هو الله. They used to see, deem and believe that the world in totality is God. بما فيه من ذوي الروح والجماد, with what the world contains of living creatures that have souls, as well as inanimate things. حتى قال بعض الشاذلية اليشروطية لبعض الناس الذين حضروا مجالسهم, to the extent that some of the Yashruti Shadhilis, they said to some of the people in attendance of their sessions, Anta Allah, wa hadha al-jidarullah, you are God, and this wall is God, etc. That's blasphemy. So for clarity, I'm not saying if someone says holy this and holy that, it's not blasphemy. But I'm saying if a person doesn't understand the meaning when he says it, then he doesn't blaspheme. That's the rule. Now, for someone to claim that people are saying it while they understand the meaning, Allah knows best about that. I'm not convinced personally. قال المؤلف رحمه الله, the author, may Allah have mercy upon him, said, yeah, do you know any other way they say it? Have you ever seen some scenario where someone says holy cow or holy ish, and he means it literally, he's not saying it as a word of surprise? I have never.
There's a YouTuber that I watch sometimes, and he says anything out his mouth, and I think he does it on purpose. He knows what it means.
So yeah, so a person like that, then yes. And when you have someone who's fully aware of what it means, when he says it, he blasphemes. Mm-hmm. Is that the case for most of the people? I personally, I don't think so. I'm saying the rule. Right. The rule is, if when he says it, he thinks it means something else, then we can't charge him with kufr. I grew up watching those old Batman shows. And in every episode, Robin is saying, holy this Batman, holy that Batman. Never crossed my mind the literal meaning of holy. قال المؤلف رحمه الله, the author, may Allah have mercy upon him, said, الكفر الاعتقادي مكانه القلب. The blasphemous conviction, its place is the heart. كنفي صفة من صفات الله تعالى الواجبة له إجماعا. Like the negation of an attribute among the attributes of Allah, exalted is He, those that are necessary for Him by consensus. So in some contexts, you're going to translate wajib as necessary. In some contexts, you're going to translate wajib as obligatory or mandatory. Here it means necessary. Al-wajibati lahu ijma'a, those that are necessary for him by consensus. Kawujudihi, like his existence. Wa kawnihi qadira, and his being powerful. Wa kawnihi sami'an basira, and his being a hearer and a seer. أو اعتقاد أنه نور بمعنى الضوء, or believing that he is a light with the meaning of an illumination, not with the meaning of a guide, with the meaning of an illumination. أو أنه روح, or that he is a soul or spirit. قال الشيخ عبد الغني النابلسي, Shaykh Abdul Ghani Al-Nabulusi said, من اعتقد أن الله ملأ السماوات والأرض أو أنه جسم قاعد فوق العرش فهو كافر وإن زعم أنه مسلم. Whoever believed that Allah filled the heavens and earth, or that he is a body sitting upon or sitting over the throne, then he is a blasphemer, even if he claimed that he is a Muslim. Ash-SharH, the explanation. أن من نفى وجود الله بقلبه فهو كافر, is that whoever negated the existence of Allah by his heart, then he is a blasphemer. Now, would we be able to call him a kafir though? We would not be able to, because it's in his heart. It doesn't appear to us. وكذلك من اعتقد أن الله غير قادر على كل شيء. And likewise, whoever believed that Allah is not powerful over everything, أو شك في قدرته على كل شيء, or he was doubtful of Allah's power over everything, فلا يعذر أحد في الجهل بقدرة الله ونحوها من صفاته. And so, unexcused is anyone, yani no one is excused for ignorance about the power of Allah and the likes of that among His attributes. مهما بلغ الجهل بصاحبه, regardless of how much was the ignorance, how exaggerated was the ignorance of the ignorant one. Meaning, regardless of his ignorance, he's not excused because in these cases there's mental evidence. So it's not even something that he has to hear. وأما إذا قال قائل الله نور فلا يعترض عليه. As for if a sayer said, Allah is nur, or a nur, nur means light, then there is no objection to him. إلا إذا كان يعتقد أنه نور بمعنى الضوء, except when he is believing that he is a nur with the meaning of an illumination. عندئذ يكفر. Upon that, he is charged with blasphemy. That's how we read it. What do you have here? Bismillah. عندئذ يكفر. I read it as يكفر. عندئذ يكفر. Upon that, he is charged with blasphemy. أما إذا قال الله نور ولم يفهم ماذا يقصد فلا يكفر. As for when he said that Allah is a nur, and it is not understood from his statement what he intended by saying so, then he is not charged or judged as a kafir. He is not charged with blasphemy or judged with blasphemy. وَلَا يُقَالُ لَهُ حَرَامٌ. And it's not said to him that's haram also. حَرَامٌ أَن تَقُولَ هَذَا. It is not said to him it's forbidden for you to say this. لأنه ورد في تعداد أسماء الله الحسنى عند البيهقي وغيره. Because it came in the listing of the names, the perfect names of Allah, according to Al-Bayhaqi and others, An-Nur. وكذلك ورد في بعض روايات تعداد أسماء الله المنير. And likewise, it came in some of the narrations of the listing of the names of Allah, Al-Munir. That means enlightener or illuminator. وهو تفسير لاسم الله النور. And that explains the name of Allah, An-Nur. So An-Nur literally means the light. Allah's name is An-Nur, not the light. An-Nur. And it means the guide. Without details. قال المؤلف رحمه الله, the author, may Allah have mercy upon him, said, الكفر الفعلي كإلقاء المصحف في القاذورات. The blasphemous action is like throwing the book of the Quran into the trash. قال ابن عابدين. Ibn Abidin said, وَلَوْ لَمْ يَقْصِدِ الْإِسْتِخْفَافِ. Even if one did not intend belittlement by throwing the Quran in the trash. He blasphemes by throwing the Quran in the trash even if he did not intend belittling the Quran. لأن فعله يدل على الاستخفاف. Because his action in itself proves the belittlement. So we don't have to search for his intention. أو أوراق العلوم الشرعية, or pages of religious knowledge, religious knowledges, sciences. أو أي ورقة عليها اسم من أسماء الله تعالى مع العلم بوجود الاسم فيها, or any paper or leaf upon which is a name among the names of Allah, exalted is He, while having the knowledge of the existence of such a name in that page. Ash-SharH, the explanation. قال بعض العلماء, some of the scholars said, إذا رمى اسم الله في القاذورات على وجه الاستخفاف كفر. If one threw the name of Allah in the trash in a belittling way, or let's say sacrilegious way, sacrilege, that's blasphemy. Sacrilege in English means the blasphemy of belittling. إذا رمى اسم الله في القاذورات على وجه الاستخفاف كفر. Some of the scholars said, if one threw the name of Allah in the trash in a sacrilegious way, then he blasphemed. أما إذا لم يكن على وجه الاستخفاف فلا يكون ردة. As for if it was not in a way of sacrilege, if it was not by way of sacrilege, then it would not be apostasy. فلا يكون ردة. Then it would not be apostasy. وهذا في غير المصحف. That's in reference to other than the book of the Quran. فإن رميه في القاذورات كفر. For indeed, throwing that into the trash is blasphemy. لأنه يدل على الاستخفاف. Because it proves sacrilege. وقال المالكية في كتبهم, and the Malikis said in their books, ترك ورقة في القاذورات مكتوب فيها قرآن استخفافا ردة وكفر. They said, leaving a paper or a page or a leaf in the trash upon which there is written Quran, that is, leaving that out of sacrilege is apostasy and blasphemy. أما الذي يتركها ليس للاستخفاف. As for the one who leaves it in the trash, not out of sacrilege, ليس للاستخفاف بها, not out of sacrilege about it, بل يعتقد أن لها حرمة. Rather, he believes that it has honor. لكن تركها تكاسلا. However, he left it out of laziness. فإنه لا يكفر ولكنه أثم إثما كبيرا. For then he does not blaspheme. However, he has sinned an enormous sin. Like here in America, there's pennies on the ground all the time that have the name God written on them. What's the judgment of the one who leaves those pennies and doesn't pick them up? That's haram if he believes that the name of Allah is there. Because sometimes those pennies are damaged. Very, very scratched up, and the name of God has been removed by wear and tear. Unless he left it out of belittling it, then it would be certainly blasphemy. وهذا الذي قاله المالكية يوافق عليه سائر أهل المذاهب الأخرى. And this which the Malikis said, the rest of the people of the other madhabs, they agree with it. لكن المالكية نصوا عليه. However, the Malikis actually documented the case. أما الآخرون فلم ينصوا عليه فيما أعلم. As for the others, they did not document it as far as I know. That's what Shaykh Abdullah said. I don't know any of the other madhabs that documented the case. لكن قواعدهم توافق على ذلك. However, the rules of those madhabs agree with it. قال المؤلف رحمه الله: ومن علق شعار الكفر على نفسه The Shaykh said, and whoever hangs the signs or symbols of blasphemy upon himself, فَإِنْ كَانَ بِنِيَّةِ التَّبَرُّكِ, then if that was with the intention of seeking blessings, أو التعظيم, or glorifying it, أو الاستحلال, or legitimating it, من غير ضرورة, without any necessity, كان مرتدا, then he would be an apostate. And he became an apostate. Kana here means Sara. Kana here means Sara. He became an apostate. Ash-SharH, the explanation, أما إن علقه لا بنية إحدى هذه المذكورات فلا يكفر. The explanation is, as for if one hung that on himself, not with the intention of one of these mentioned things, then he does not blaspheme. لكنه أثم إثما كبيرا. However, he sinned a big sin. Shaykh Muhammad Sulaiman, he told us an example of a darura is like fearing for his life. He put it on himself out of fear of his life. For example, there's a checkpoint. If you go past that checkpoint and they find out you're a Muslim, they'll kill you. So, and then you can't get away, for example. So a woman, she might take her scarf off for that so that they don't kill her. Or a person, he might put a cross around his neck so that they don't kill him. Or he might say, like, if his name is Muhammad, he might say, my name is Roger. My name is Philip. Or something like that so that they don't kill him. So that's what we learned. The example of the necessity that I learned was that. Like one is, he fears for his life. So he put a cross around his neck, for example. Okay. Quick note for you here. He says, min ghayri darura. A darura is more than a haja. Haja is translated usually as need. Darura is usually translated as necessity, but need and necessity are practically the same thing. So a haja, if you want to translate it as need, maybe, but not with the meaning of necessary, just something that you want to do. Like how people say, I need to do such and such, meaning I want to. Like an errand. An errand is a haja. I say, I have to go to the store. I need to get, not even toilet paper. I need to get a bag of chips. That's a haja. This is something you want to do. Darura is urgent or emergency. Okay.
Subhanahu qad jalla an